Hello and welcome to the Thundercloud. We had a pretty damn good night tonight. I'm going to say that right now to get things started. The Blue Jays are now one win away from being the 2025 World Series champions. I will say it's a little too early to, put on the parade, the celebration now, but Sage says, finally, I apologize for work taking up too much damn time from our streaming sessions. It's certainly unfortunate. I had worries about Trey Yesavage and how he would do in his first road appearance in the postseason, as well as obviously in the World Series, but he was absolutely dominant tonight. Complete dynamite, if you ask me. He set a MLB record for most strikeouts in a game in a World Series playoff game by a rookie. He had 12 strikeouts in 7 innings pitched. I was glad to see that they didn't give him the yank too early. They kept him in there longer than I expected. 7 innings is pretty huge. They went by feel, so John Schneider and company went by feel more so than analytics. Analytics would basically say, hey, third time through, let's not have him face the batters a third time through, and that's usually what they stick to in the playoffs. But they made the right decision. He did not walk anyone. Like I said, 12 strikeouts, only allowed 1 earned run, a solo home run to Kike Hernandez in the 3rd inning, which I think made the game 2-1 at the time. He only allowed 3 hits. He was absolutely great tonight. And Sir Anthony Dominguez and Jeff Hoffman closed the door on a Dodgers comeback, allowing no runs and 2 innings worked combined, 1 inning each. So we were absolutely great pitching tonight. Really good to see. We didn't have to burn our bullpen. We'll be completely fresh for games 6 and 7 in Toronto. And we really took care of business in LA. I know the game 3 was a tough pill to swallow, that 18-inning game that the Jays came up just short, losing 6-5, but they bounced back to win 2 in a row, and they did it against some damn good pitchers, Shohei Ohtani and Blake Snell, and we roughed up Blake Snell yet again. We hit 2 runs in the 1st inning. Davis Schneider hit a home run in the first pitch of the game. Vladimir Guerrero hit his 8th home run of the playoff. I don't know if this is correct or not. I think that might be the most that's ever been hit in the playoffs, but I could be wrong there. So fact check me if you like. I will actually give myself a fact check. Most home runs in a single postseason. Let's just see. It looks like the record, is Randy Arozarena, who has 10. He did that back in 2020 for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. So I'm close to being right. Vlad is second, tied for second with Shohei Ohtani, who has 8 this year. So kind of crazy that we've got 2 of the top 3 in the World Series this year. Close to setting a record. They could potentially tie or exceed that record. I wouldn't expect it, but fucking certainly impressive what he did tonight as well as other nights. We'll go through the Blue Jays box score as they did win 6-1 to go up 3-2 on the Dodgers. So let's get to it. So Davis Schneider 1 for 3 tonight with a walk. Miles Straw came in late as a defensive replacement mostly, was 0 for 1. Vladimir Guerrero 1 for 3 with 2 walks and the RBI from the home run. Bo Bichette 1 for 5 with an RBI. Kirk, unfortunately, never mind. I read the stats wrong. He was 1 for 4 tonight with a walk, no runs scored, no RBIs. Dalton Varsho 1 for 4 with a run scored where he got a triple, so he put them in great position with that triple there. Ernie Clement 1 for 3 with an RBI. Addison Barger 2 for 3, and interestingly enough, they started him against a lefty He typically struggles against lefties, but I mean, they wanted to get his bat in the lineup and it worked. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa finally had a good game, going 1 for 4 with an RBI. He hasn't hit very good at all in the playoffs. Kind of to be expected. He's not a great hitter typically. And closing out the box score here is Andres Gimenez, who went 0 for 3. Now, can't pop the champagne yet. I believe if we break this down objectively, the Blue Jays have taken care of business in every way, shape, or form so far in the series. They went 1-1 at home to start things off. Really heartbreaking loss in Game 3. One that I think would have deflated a lot of teams, and they would have allowed that to carry into the next game. The Blue Jays, like a good quarterback who's just thrown a pick, had a short memory, won the next two. So they've got 2 shots at home to win the World Series on home soil. It's certainly going to be hard, though. They've got, obviously, Yamamoto up against Kevin Gausman. We know that Yamamoto, when he pitched last, won a complete game against the Blue Jays. So I do sense that this is going to go 7 games. I do think that Yamamoto probably going to mow us down again, and we'll probably see Game 7, but I certainly hope that they prove me wrong. Kevin Gausman's been great in the playoffs, though, so, if you can keep him to 1 or 2 runs and burn 6 or 7 innings, give us a shot to kind of close out. It's all we got to ask. And, maybe run into a fastball or two, put a couple on the board with the home run. Regardless, I mean, this is obviously a memorable season for the Jays. I really do hope that they win it, but at the same time, it's still anyone's series. I mean, if we can win 2 in a row on the road, they can win 2 in a row on the road. They're a firepower, pitching wise, offensively. It's going to be tough. Yes, Kevin Gausman is confirmed to be the Game 6 pitcher. The Game 7 pitcher is not announced yet, but I believe it would be Max Scherzer in Game 7 up against Tyler Glasnow. So I believe that would be a rematch from earlier in the series. I don't expect they would change that. It's just kind of the way the cookie crumbled. It's be nice if it was Kevin Gausman in Game 7, in my opinion, but at the same time, we'll see what happens. If it goes to Game 7, hopefully Scherzer's got a bit more in the tank. A bit of adrenaline with what would probably be his last ever game, I would assume. It's kind of a crapshoot at this time. It really is. I'm still not feeling overly confident. Would have been nice to just take the goddamn series in 5 and have a lot less stress, but at the end of the day, I think, Sage, you and I were talking about it. You said, I think, earlier today, it'd be pretty crazy if the Jays could go back home with a 3-2 lead. They were able to do that. The pressure is on both teams still, in my opinion, even though the Dodgers are facing elimination. But next game's not a must-win for us. But I feel like at this point, fucking every game is, man. I don't know if I can handle a Game 7, but it's going to be a great series one way or the other, you know what I mean? So hopefully we can speak the Blue Jays winning the World Series into existence. That would be completely awesome. And yes, the thundercloud does bless the Bluebirds, and it would be completely crazy if the Jays were to win this. And great team, honestly, great team. They're talented, but they're grinders too. I don't know how anyone that watches baseball could hate these guys. They're close-knit. It's just a great team, man. It's a team like none other. I've talked about the 2015, 2016 teams that had great offensive prowess, but these teams are better, man. Our defense is outstanding. We've got good starting pitching. We've got a really good offense. Our bullpen does have some blips, obviously. So does the Dodgers. It's a good. It's a good team. What are the Yankees Twitter people saying right now? I have not checked any of the Yankees Twitter. Are they freaking out? Saying they should have beat us or something? Or what are they saying? I'm really curious, actually, to hear what they're up to. Let me see if I can quickly go to Twitter and see what they were saying. All playoff after the Yankee series that the Jays were going to lose and shit. Yeah, I know that the Yankees played the Dodgers last year and they lost in 5 games. So I guess the Yankees fans can respectfully go fuck themselves, because regardless of how this goes, we did better than they did. They said no chance against Seattle, absolute zero chance against the Dodgers. Well, if they're saying we have no chance against Seattle and zero chance against the Dodgers, what does that mean for how they feel about their own team? I mean, we did beat them 3-1 in a series, no? We obliterated their pitchers, who are extremely good pitchers. So what does that say about their team? The Yankees roster construction needs to be better. You can't have guys like Rice sitting on the bench. Can't have like as many lefties as they do. They got a good team, the Yankees, but I think it's absolutely fucking crazy that they're saying we would have no chance. Yankees fans are amongst the dumbest fans that I've seen. I'd put them right up there with like Maple Leafs fans or Philadelphia fans. I don't think like Los Angeles fans are that stupid, honestly, but Yankees fans are probably the dumbest fans, and they're like the Homer type fans that can't see anything objective. So like, you know what I mean? And the media is the same way too. Like that's why Derek Jeter has 5 Gold Gloves, because their media was on their fucking side, right? So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't expect any different from the Yankees fans. I think a lot of other teams were saying we didn't have a chance at all, but I mean, it's baseball, man. This shit can go either way, and however you spin it, the Jays are one of the best teams in baseball, if not the best. So it's really crazy when you think about it. It's when Mason Fluharty got that save against. When he got that save against Ohtani and them, where, you know, he was really backed up, bases loaded or some shit, way back, I think, in June or July, that win basically gives us home field advantage over the Dodgers 94-93. If we lose one more game, the Yankees would have had home field advantage over us. So it's kind of crazy when you look at baseball. It's like 162 fucking games. And how much came down to the last games of the season. The Jays had to win 4 in a row to stay in this position of having home field advantage throughout. And obviously they needed the Dodgers to win against Milwaukee, who had more wins than us with 97. So it's pretty epic, honestly. Sage is saying that the Yankees fans are extremely quiet right now. But they were saying after the 18-inning marathon that the Dodgers were no question going to demolish the Jays. Laughing my ass off. So it's, you know, it's I really thought that would be a big turning point. You know, losing that 18-inning game, to me, that was where I was kind of feeling like, okay, we're going to throw in the towel, that sort of thing. To bounce back 2 games after that, I think that shows a lot about the mental fortitude that this team has. Like, they really don't let things get to them. Don't let them get down, you know what I mean? Like, they're a tough team, man. Like, they'll fucking battle you in so many ways. Like, tonight, you know, we scored some runs by them throwing the ball away. Our defense is always very good. We've got the best defensive team in baseball. Defense matters a little bit. I wouldn't say our pitching's the best. Absolutely not. Our offense, not the best, but it's up there overall. Let me just take a look at the comments here. He says but it was a few accounts, but I'm sure they all shared the same sentiment. They knew they were better. They had a few chances to win, but got unlucky. got to grind it out even after the shitty bounces. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's because the Jays could have very well, like, we could be talking about the Jays being World Series champions right now after 5 games against the Dodgers. Like, that's actually a reality because Tommy Edman made 2 plays, one on a relay from Teoscar Hernandez, where they had to make perfect relays to the plate in order to gun the runner out. We very well could have took Game 3. We didn't, obviously, but we very well could have taken Game 3, and that's pretty crazy to think about. Unfortunately, it came down to bringing Brendan Little in the game in the 17th and 18th inning, and we weren't able to get out of it with a clutch Freddie Freeman. Don't get me wrong, the Dodgers are a hell of a team. I mean, they've got a payroll of $322 million. They've got the most money spent in baseball. Let's not act like the Jays don't spend. I mean, they're, I think, roughly $80 million less, 5th overall in baseball. And, I mean, good on them for spending. The Jays are going to spend a lot more in the offseason, I tell you that much. It's going to be a fun offseason as well. Not that I want, I want to go to the offseason as world champs. That's what I want. But I'm telling you, the Jays are going to make some huge plays in the offseason. And I actually believe that the best is in front of us. Whether that means we're going to make, the World Series next year or the year after, I mean, that remains to be seen, right? But I think the Jays aren't a very old team. They're going to spend money. They know that they have to improve in certain areas. My opinion is left-handed relief pitching, as well as adding a bit more stability, with a righty, patching up the starting pitching. That needs to happen some way, shape, or form. I'd love to see Shane Bieber come back. Chris Bassett, if you miss out on other guys, potentially as a 5-starter. They're both free agents at the end of the year. And then you just see what happens. I don't think offensively we're going to change a whole lot. I don't really think there's a need to. I think what we've got is a very good balanced team between defense and offense. Of course, there will be some changes. You might see some guys move for relievers and trades. I do think the trade market is going to be huge for the Jays. But, yeah, I would say mostly offensively we're going to kind of stay the same. But don't forget, Anthony Santander, who hit 44 home runs last year, had a brutal year this year with the oblique injury. He's going to play next year, and he could make a big difference. Sage says, easy, that throw out and bases loaded stuck in his mind, referring to the fact that we could be world champs right now. Sage says, I feel like the Jays need to overpay a bit, given it's Canada, taxes inconvenient, border coming home, and the weather. The taxes are similar to New York and the Dodgers. Now, coming to Canada is definitely a factor, but at the same time, when we're trying to sign free agents, in the past, we had no trouble signing free agents back in 1992, 1993, all that sort of stuff, because we were legit World Series contenders. Being a World Series contender, a legitimate one, will make a difference. And yeah, you got to overpay a bit, but at the same time, the Jays are going to overpay. Like, I think they're at $239 million right now for their salary right now. Next year, that's going to go up. I could definitely see them spending more than $275 million. And I think I might be wrong. I think the Dodgers are actually the second most for payroll. I think the New York Mets are number 1, and they didn't even make the playoffs, which is kind of crazy when you think about it, not even making the playoffs, albeit came down to the last game of the season for them. I think it was the Reds or someone got in over them, but you can't just spend money. You have to do other things well, too. There's a lot to it. Yeah, they've got to compete with the Dodgers, Phillies, Yankees, Mets. So where they've gotten is very impressive. I think it's easily the most impressive Jays season I've seen. It's not over yet, though. I don't think we can celebrate. I think we can rest our heads if we lose the next 2 games, knowing that we had a great year. But it would just be very nice to just win this one, I think you'd piss off a lot of Americans, the dumb Americans, because there's some I think that are cheering for the Jays because, typically speaking, people love underdog stories. This is one of the biggest underdog stories you would ever see. And it's one of the biggest underdogs you'd ever see because we were only projected by the gambling gods to win 76 games prior to the season. And instead we won 94. The Sage says, regardless, Tariq Skubal is coming to Toronto, and he gives a woo! You know what? I'd love Tariq Skubal, man. That's a game changer right there. I heard that, actually, you mentioned him. I heard that Detroit was trying to do an extension or something with them, and they were kind of lowballing him. So that would be interesting if he became a free agent, honestly. I don't know if the Tigers would want to trade him to like us. I don't know if we would have enough prospect capital to get that done. Probably end up on the fucking Yankees or something, honestly. It just seems like one of those things if he hits the open market. But hey, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, you know what I mean? We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But yeah, we'll see what happens Game 6. I do project that the Dodgers will force it to a Game 7. Do hope I'm wrong, but Yamamoto is amazing. One thing to kind of point out that's kind of interesting, the Blue Jays were front runners, and when I say front runners, they were in the top 2 to sign the following players that are currently on the Dodgers. I believe Yamamoto was one of them. Ohtani was definitely one of them. Teoscar Hernandez was another. And the only reason we have Miles Straw right now is because we wanted to add to our international draft pool money in order to sign Rosei Sasaki, who ended up with the Dodgers. So I feel like if we're doing that well, when our team really hadn't had a playoff win since, 2016, that sort of thing, had made the playoffs a couple times, but certainly had a down year, I feel like going to the World Series and potentially winning it is going to help them, sign a couple of these big-name free agents. I don't think we're going to sign Kyle Schwarber, but he is a free agent in the offseason. I don't think we'll sign him, though. But I haven't looked a ton at the list. Once the season's over, I will kind of do a deep dive into, who's the top free agents, who is a fit for the Jays, who isn't. I don't know if I'll really predict where they would sign outside of the Jays. I'll probably keep it Jays-centric a little bit. But there's definitely guys out there. So I feel like if we kind of focus on the top 50 or 100 free agents and then just kind of go through the list, maybe look at the stats, that sort of thing, I could probably make some predictions. But I think the Jays are going to be splashy in the trade market. I think they've got at least two trades up their sleeve in the offseason. I would say most likely for some bullpen arms, in my opinion. And it is true. It is kind of pointless trying to sign the Japanese players these days because they do pick the Dodgers because the Dodgers are a great team, and obviously the time zone is a thing. Their time zone is way closer to Japan's time zone than what the Jays would be. So there is that thing too. If they're, talking to their family, that sort of thing. So it's tough. I think you still got to stay after it, and then of course pivot to other guys if you miss out. Right? That's we signed a really good international free agent this year. I forget his name, 16-year-old or 15-year-old, something like that. You never know. That's kind of what we did with Vladdy. He came up when he was 19 or so. So you never know with some of these top international free agents. You got to hit on those guys too. Be interesting to see where Bo Bichette goes in the offseason. He's a free agent. Are the Jays going to try to sign him? If they don't, I'm not necessarily overly concerned because you do have Ernie Clement, Andres Jimenez, Davis Schneider, could potentially platoon a bit more. That would put Addison Barger at third base almost full-time. Put Anthony Santana in right field, George Springer as DH. So you do have fallback plans. You just got to make sure you spend the money elsewhere if you miss out, right? Yeah, by 3 hours. So that does make a bit of a difference for sure, eh? Well, yeah, the off season is near, and quite frankly, I've always been a bigger fan of the off season. I wish I was doing this years and years ago, this streaming stuff, because I used to be so plugged in on everything baseball in the off season, kind of like I am with football. So I'm looking forward to when football off season starts as well, because that's actually when you're probably going to get my best streams, honestly, because I enjoy that stuff more than the actual games. But obviously, we need to go over the fucking games as well. Sage just breaking it down, 13-hour differential versus a 16-hour differential in Toronto. Sage just got his little fact checker on. Now, normally I do a thing where I go over who's going to win tomorrow. I don't know the betting odds for the football game, Thursday Night Football. I know the Ravens are on the road against the Dolphins. The Ravens will win the game. They'll improve to 3-5, whatever they are. Lamar Jackson returning. I just don't see the Dolphins winning. So that's my prediction for tomorrow. I don't know who's favored by what. It's going to be a shitty game. I can check who's favored and just tell you who I think will win real quick. But I didn't really want this to be about football tonight. I just feel like what's going on right now in baseball is far more important, far more exhilarating. They got the Ravens favored to win by 7.5. And you know what? I'll just take the Ravens to win by 7.5. I don't give a fuck. I'm not putting any thought into it. But all right, we will be back at it tomorrow. And tomorrow's a rest day, so we won't have Blue Jays to go over. So we'll just basically go over probably, obviously, the shit game, the stinker that Sage said for Thursday Night Football, the results there. We'll take a look at, maybe a bit more detail for Game 6, potentially Game 7 as well. And then hopefully the Jays win over the weekend, man. That'd be fucking awesome. Sage, I understand you fucking hate football. I get it, man. You're going to do all right. You're going to do all right in fantasy. You'll do all right. But I'm going to call that stream right here. We'll be back at it tomorrow. You guys have a good night. Go Jays, go. One more to go. All right. See you tomorrow.